I think this is the perfect representation of what's happening in Washington, D.C. right now. As they're dancing all over the federal bureaucracy, waste, corruption, and fraud that these two are exposing in record levels that we have never, ever gone through in what I think is recorded American history. All of this, as there's some really incredible news happening right now, specifically with potentially the disbanding of the ATF, the auditing of the Federal Reserve banking system, and now the firing of more bureaucrats and persons that don't exist or work in Washington, D.C., that, of course, are taking our money away illegally just for their own personal benefits. Truly. There's also other news, specifically with Joy Reid right now, we're going to get to at the end of this particular video. But man, what an incredible timeline to be alive in right now. As Donald Trump went to Elon Musk and said, hey, you know what? You've been doing great. You've been doing awesome. I want you to get more aggressive. And guess what? That's exactly what Elon Musk is doing. As Donald Trump publicly declared this on Truth Social, saying, Elon is doing a great job, but I would like to see him get more aggressive. Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make greater than ever before. Make America great again. And that's exactly what Elon has done, as he has devised now a new ploy, a new plot to figure out where all of our money is actually going to in great detail, as he came out on social media a couple days ago and said, should all federal employees be required to send a short email with some basic bullet points about what they accomplished last week? Overwhelmingly, nearly 1 million people voted saying, yes, please. Can we do this? And that's exactly what he is doing, as he announced the bar is set very low, as now he sent out emails saying, hey, this shouldn't take no longer than 5 minutes. Give me 5 bullet points. Tell me what you actually did. And your deadline is this Monday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Quote, do not send any classified information or attachment, just 5 bullet points of what you accomplished with your manager being CC'd here. And now comes the eruption of the bureaucratic nanny state that is freaking out behind this. Why? This is simple. This happens in businesses all the freaking time. But it never happens in Washington, D.C., because the government is never incentivized to provide you a good product or any kind of viable product. The government is there just to be the government. You go to the DMV, you see any kind of government kind of work being done here, and you're like, wow. Yeah, this is why the private sector is way better than the, quote, public sector that wastes so much money on inefficiencies because they just don't care. There's no one there. There's no free market pushing them or propelling them until now, where they face the realities of the real world. These people have never faced these types of realities, and that's why they're freaking out. But more importantly, as Elon Musk kind of points out here, they're freaking out because a lot of these people are not only dealing with the real world now, but more importantly, they're dealing with an unraveling of the corruption, because there are a lot of bureaucrats that don't exist, that are made up, or don't do anything, that get paid by your hard-earned tax dollars in the real world. As Elon says, the reason this matters is that a significant number of people who are supposed to be working for the government are doing so little work that they are not checking their email at all. In some cases, we believe non-existent people or the identities of dead people are being used to collect paychecks. In other words, there's outright fraud. And there is. As finally now, this meme from Office Space is being absolutely carried up, but with the federal government. How beautiful is this? As again, I think it's fair to assume here, there's going to be a lot of fraud that's going to be exposed here. A lot of money is going to be saved here. A lot of people who clearly do not deserve my hard-earned money are finally now going to get a reality check. And of course, again, you work in a real business. You actually provide a real service to the general public. You actually earn your money. You're familiar with this. This is standard practices for many businesses that have their managers say, yeah, Just talk to me. Let's get some accountability here. Let's find out what we're doing. Let's make sure we're not wasting away our time and money and resources here. Since, private businesses can't do that. We don't have the luxury of the federal government that's been doing that for far too long. And who's going to be arguing against productivity? Well, it's the liberals. It's the Democrats, as we have liberal senators saying this is the ultimate wiener move by Musk, except he isn't even the boss. He's just a wiener. Really? You're going to be mad at this? This is going to be your Alamo? This is where you're going to have your last stand here? Absolutely ridiculous. As, of course, government officials that have never really worked before are going to be cracking out at their crack being denied to them. And that, of course, is federal tax dollars that are now finally being saved here. As it's people like Mr. Big Balls or a 19-year-old protege of Elon Musk that are doing a lot of the firing. The Daily Mail did a really interesting article about Mr. Big Balls. So did New York Magazine, that covered this blockily-haired young man declaring that Big Balls is on top of the world, how he came to join the Musk revolution, as now there's larger ideas about the ATF and the Federal Reserve that are going to be game-changing. Absolutely freaking incredible. You know what else is going to be game-changing? Donald Trump's energy policies, as we are going to also be going through a larger revolution in the private sector that will fully unleash energy independence on America in a very big, vast, huge way that I think a lot of people don't even fully understand yet. Here's Donald Trump, that, by the way, just announced this.
We're waging war on Joe Biden's inflation disaster, the worst inflation probably in our history. They say 48 years, which isn't bad, but probably in our history. And to bring down the price of energy, I declared a national energy emergency. To cut through the red tape, I've established a National Energy Dominance Council, chaired by the former colleague and your former colleague, Secretary Bergen.
This as the energy game has changed. On January 20th, 2025, the future of energy production around the globe experienced a significant shift as President Donald Trump declared a national energy emergency, fast-tracking approvals for nuclear power. His administration goal is energy independence, and nuclear is at the core of that strategy. President Trump's pick to head the U.S. Energy Department, Chris Wright, is making nuclear a priority, pushing for more expansion. Just north of the U.S. border, Canada is stepping up. The country is on track to not only become the 51st state, but to also become the world's top uranium supplier, with production expected to double by 2035. And at the heart of it all, the Athabasca Bastion, home of some of the highest grade uranium deposits on Earth. But here's where it gets really interesting. AI data centers and EVs are driving up energy demand like never before. Meta's $10 billion AI data center in Louisiana is nuclear powered. Amazon, Alphabet, and Oracle are all investing in small modular reactors, MSRs. By 2030, AI data centers alone are projected to consume 8 times more energy than they do today. The problem is that uranium supply is tightening. Many mines have shut down in the past decade. New ones take years to develop, as the United States still relies heavily on foreign uranium, making North American production more critical than ever. This is where the sponsor of today's video, Mustang Energy, ticker MECPF, comes in. Mustang Energy is a pure-play uranium explorer with prime projects in the Athabascan Bastion, strategically located near some of the biggest uranium discoveries in history. Mustang Energy's key projects are Fort Lake, near Cameco's Millennium and Denson's Phoenix and Gryphene deposits, Cigar Lake East and Rogue Rider South, next to Cigar Lake, one of the richest uranium mines, Yellowstone and Yellowstone East, close to the Cluff Lake mine in fission uranium, $789 million acquisitioned by Paladin Energy. Dunton, located along the Virgin River Shear Zone, a known high-grade uranium corridor. Spur and 914W, near Camino's key Lake uranium mill. With partnerships along Axiom Exploration, Dagro Geological Consulting, Red Cloud Securities, and Sky Harbor Resources, Mustang Energy is gearing up for exploring drilling in the months ahead. And right now, uranium prices are down 36% from their peak, making this a prime opportunity to take a closer look. Here's the big picture. Uranium demand is projected to rise to 28% by 2030. Many mines have shut down, and new supplies take years to develop. The U.S. relies heavily on foreign uranium, creating geopolitical risk. Mustang Energy, MECPF, is positioned for this moment. They're drilling soon, and they're in the right place at the right time. Mustang Energy, MECPF, is the top uranium pick in the Trump nuclear renaissance. Research Mustang Energy, ticker MECPF, today by going into our description and checking out this company for yourself. As we want to thank this company for working with us, since clearly nuclear is going to have a very bright future in an energy independent world where, of course, energy isn't restricted for, the subjugation and control of local populations. Finally, we're living in a day and age where common sense reigns supreme, as of course the next big common sense thing that could potentially have grave implications will be an audit of the U.S. Federal Reserve banking system, something that libertarians and anarchists and freedom believers have been calling for such a long time. Now might actually be done by Elon Musk, as Yahoo Finance is reporting that he won't drop this idea of auditing the Federal Reserve banking system, and the level of fraud that he will find there, the level of corruption, the level of foreign banks just being paid off through money printing is going to shock people. As CNN Business is asking the question, is this a good idea? Well, it depends, since this is going to disclose how a lot of the financial market is just absolutely rigged. The new head of the FBI, by the way, previously also said, we got to get rid of this Federal Reserve banking system. Clearly, this is a major issue and something that the Trump administration officials are taking very seriously, which we all should.
So I think we got to educate people that the Federal Reserve is not a public government entity. It's a private entity owned by the robber barons that started this country, who manipulate the currency to their advantage. And that needs to be tackled. Again, I'm not the economic guru. I just know it's a problem. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the solution is, but it needs to be addressed.
Absolutely, especially if you care about the purchasing power of the dollars. The Federal Reserve is a quasi-public private bank that clearly has been acting without any kind of larger oversight from the citizenry, as they're able to do whatever they want, just like the ATF that has been abusing their position of power, as Kash Patel also is going to potentially be head of the ATF soon, as it looks like the Trump administration looking in ways to save money, looking at ways to get rid of government waste, will now potentially be turning the ATF into the FBI. Yes, you heard that correctly. This is something that could absolutely end this larger, draconian, horrible organization, as having Kash Patel lead the ATF would be an absolute incredible thing to see. And nature is healing. The weird colored animals are becoming less poisonous than they ever have before. And truly, we are living in a world where we're going to get so many disclosures. The propaganda no longer is working. MSNBC just canceled Joy Reid's primetime spot here because they're realizing the shift has kind of turned here. People are demanding the truth here. People no longer are satiated and satisfied by the lies and the bread and the circuses. They want real substance. They want real answers. They want real action that they're actually getting with this president, this administration that I think is doing absolutely incredible, amazing work. Again, I've been looking into government waste and fraud for over 21 years, all right? 21 years sitting here at this desk, just kind of pulling my hair out about, why are we doing this? Why are we giving them money? Why are they getting money? Why are they getting my money? And then I get this huge IRS bill, then they come after me, then they try to threaten to take everything from me, and then they hang up the phone on me. This is, again, Ron Swanson is my spirit animal. So seeing all of this unfold, it's I got to pinch myself. I truly, like, I have to pinch myself. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And if you're in the same boat, share this video with your friends and family members. Thank you for the sponsor of today's video. Really means a lot to be able to work with companies that are willing to work with us. So go check them out. Check out the larger kind of energy revolution that we're going to be doing. Do your own homework, do your own research, and stay tuned for more here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.